Y'all, I think you like it when I'm being messy. So here's a typical Tubi one for you. Martell McMiller, a businessman, and his wife Shauna have a baby together named MJ. When Martell learns that Shauna's younger sister Star is coming over because of a relationship problem with her Asian boyfriend, he tells Shauna that she should just date a black man because black men don't cheat and they got bigger D's. For some reason, they thought it would be cute to have a dancing segment. Soon he kisses goodbye to her and their baked cream pie, MJ, because he's going to Detroit again to check on his businesses there. Martell drives to another area to spend time with his first family. You said black men don't cheat? Jennifer is his first wife, whom he says chased him in high school and trapped him, their teenage daughter, Titi, and their preteen son, Telly. Jennifer suggests that they should just move to Detroit because he is always there for business, 5 to 6 days a week, and he's only with them for their Saturday brunch, which is their setup for 3 years, so he can be more present in their lives. She shows him a house she has looked up, but he explains that he has business everywhere, so he still needs to travel. He then informs her that he will be traveling to Akron. My ovaries would have dried up and shriveled off because this is sussy behavior. Since Titi and Telly aren't home and Martell is on his way to Akron, Jennifer's friend Tootie, whose wig is pushed too far back, invites her to go to the club of Martell's brother Marcus, who is giving out free drinks. Jennifer initially declines, saying Martell forbade her to go there because it's too hood, but eventually gives in, saying she'll toss out her wig if Martell finds out. Of course, Shauna and her sister Star arrive at Marcus's club, and Marcus bitterly greets Shauna, but hits on Star, who turns him down. When Shauna asks about Martell, he tells her that at the club somewhere. Shortly after, Marcus happily greets Jennifer and Tootie, who then sit 3 seats from Shauna and Star. Shauna wants to go home, but Star, who refuses to go home, asks Marcus for more drinks, calling him brother-in-law. Hearing this, Tootie informs Jennifer, who brushes it off that she probably said bro. Meanwhile, Martell, who's in the club's office, is on the phone with his Atlanta girlfriend, talking about marriage. Juggling 6 boobs is crazy. One of their employees informs him that his wives are there, prompting him to end the call, saying there's something urgent he needs to take care of in the club. When Marcus sees Martell walking towards Shauna and Star, he immediately talks to Jennifer and Tootie to distract them. However, as Martell assists Star out of the club because she's barely 21 and drunk, Tootie sees them and informs Jennifer, who then angrily asks Martell why he's there when he's supposed to be in Akron. Martell calls Marcus and asks him to figure out what's going on in the club, so Marcus leads Jennifer and Tootie to the office while Martell assists Shauna and Star to their car. Mind you, fighting over a man that looks like Martell is wild. As Marcus scrambles through paperwork, he tells Jennifer that Martell is there because the club is having problems and that the women Martell assisted are regulars, but Jennifer and Tootie don't believe him. Jennifer asks Marcus to look her in the eye and tell her the truth, and takes his silence and the guilty look on his face as confirmation that those women aren't just customers. Before driving away, Shauna asks Martell about the woman who confronted him, and he tells her that she is just someone Marcus wants him to hire. He adds that he's been dodging her because she is not taking no for an answer, so much so that he's thinking about banning her at the club. After seeing Martell sending off Shauna and Star, Jennifer confronts Martell for lying to her about going to Akron and about having relations with Shauna, but he denies cheating on her. She brings up him cheating on her with a girl named Rachel, but he clarifies that although Titi was already born when he and Rachel were together, they were not in a relationship, so that didn't count as cheating. Girl, once a cheater, always a cheater. He tells her that Rachel is now happily married and he is too with her, so she has nothing to worry about. Afterwards, Jennifer is looking disheveled as ever. They reconcile and do the nasty. Then he goes home to Shauna and has sex with her too. Gotta give him credit for being able to do that twice in one night, but he a heifer. The next morning after Martell leaves his and Jennifer's home, Jennifer stares at their family picture, then decides to tail Martell. At the club, Marcus tells Martell that his situation is crazy and that he can't keep it a secret forever. When Martell reminds him about their dad having multiple families too, Marcus reminds him that it pushed their mom to spiral and do drugs, but Martell blames their mom instead. Mama should have swallowed. Martell says that he can keep it going as long as he wants because he has learned well from their dad and that it's all good because he takes care of all of his family. When Marcus says he likes Star, Martell warns him not to make a move on Star or any of his girls and their families. Martell leaves the club and drives to the home he and Shauna share, unaware that Jennifer is tailing him. After seeing him with Shauna, the heartbroken and sobbing Jennifer drives home and calls someone, asking for a favor. Soon at the club, Martell tells Marcus that he's right and that he's considering letting someone go and starts talking about Jennifer. Marcus immediately tells him that he shouldn't let go of Jennifer because she's the only one who was there for them when their mom was overdosing on Ozempic. Martell then informs Marcus that he has already bought the building on Turney and Garfield and that he plans on turning it into a restaurant, with his friend Cosmo, who studied culinary before he went to jail, as the chef because no one is selling good food in the area. Marcus, who was the one who suggested that he buy the building and is excited to make it a new bar, gets pissed with the idea because who gonna buy jail food? So he leaves. He then gets a call from Jennifer. Meanwhile, Marcus visits his mama, but before that, he sniffs some Ozempic powder. He gives his big back mama some food, who says Marcus is spiraling just like her. Weeks later, Martell visits Jennifer and tells her about an Atlanta family trip he's planning. Jennifer confronts him about Shauna, saying she followed him and that further investigations confirm that they're married. When he says he can't just leave Shauna, she asks if he loves her and breaks down in tears. She tells him she's going to confront Shauna and fight for their family, prompting him to warn her that if she does, he's going to take everything away from her, including their kids. Later, Martell tries to convince Shauna to move from Cleveland to Atlanta. She's still in her happy place, not knowing how trifling Martell is. One night, as Martell is leaving the club, someone approaches him and shoots him 3 times in the chest. His families are then informed about his death. Attorney Russo informs Shauna about her inheritance, but she refuses to accept it for some reason, so he tells her that they can liquidate it. Jennifer and Marcus barge into Russo's office, refusing to let Shauna get everything. Jennifer shows Russo a folder containing proof that she's the real Mrs. McMiller, but Russo only tells her to contest it in court. Marcus is livid and calls the fatback lawyer greasy refried beans. At home, Star comforts Shauna, who's struggling to process the truth, saying it's not her fault and that Martell was a manipulator. Although they have a relative is already looking over their paperwork.
I told you, Tootie's auntie's niece is going to look over all of our official paperwork.
Marcus fears that Shauna would have gotten and sold everything by the time they're ready to contest the inheritance in court. When Jennifer asks him why he didn't tell her about the lawyer and the other women, he tells her that if he did, they'd all have nothing. He then reveals that when she found out about Rachel, it was him who set the pictures out for her to see, but she still got back together with Martell. While jogging, Star gets pursued by a man. Y'all, her boobs are jiggling. He shoots at her, hitting her ankle. Another jogger comes by and calls 911, prompting the man to flee. Star later assures the worried Shauna that it's just a botched carjacking. Shauna informs Star that the Atlanta Airbnb investment property Martell was talking about was going to be Jennifer's house because they were supposed to get married. Wanting to run away from everything, she says she is looking at some schools on the West Coast and so they can all move. Marcus arrives and asks Shauna to give him the building on Turney and Garfield. Refusing to give anything because Martell even bought Marcus a house already, Martell's kids have college funds and they're going to need money when they turn 25, and he and Martell's other women are not her responsibility. Jennifer tells the assailant that she's not paying for a botched job and that the target is Shauna and Star is just collateral damage. Shortly after, Marcus informs her that his plan failed and asks her what her plan is because she has been quiet, but she refuses to tell him. When he asks if she had Martell killed, she denies it. When she asks him the same, he also denies it, saying he'll never harm his brother, even if they don't get along sometimes. Jennifer suspects Shauna had Martell killed and assures him that she's taking care of everything. Unbeknownst to them, the assailant is watching them. After being questioned by the police for hours, Shauna and Star head to the club office to clear it. Star thinks Marcus might have killed Martell, but Shauna says they're close and doesn't think so. After Shauna says she's picking up the check from the lawyer's office on Friday at noon, Diamond, the guy who works for Martell and Marcus, arrives and asks for his last paycheck because he just had a baby. Since the lawyers are still settling everything, Shauna gives him some of the money she has in her pocket. Jennifer learns that Martell never signed their marriage certificate. She's thinking about signing it herself, but she is discouraged from doing so because it's fraud.
That's totally illegal, and I don't play around like that.
White girl don't play. When Tubi urges the depressed Jennifer to get help, Jennifer tells her that she got mad when Martell told her that she chased and trapped him, but she has realized that he was right. She has always fought to keep him, although sometimes she wanted to kill him because of how he treated her. Marcus arrives and tells them that they stick together. Jennifer then shows them proof that she and Martell were never married. Marcus calls Shauna, asking her to meet him immediately at 4th District because he knows who killed Martell. He then sniffs cornstarch before driving off. Shauna hurriedly leaves the house to meet Marcus. The assailant drives by and shoots at her, but Star, who's trying to help her, is the one who is shot. The assailant barges into Jennifer's house, demanding that she pay him at gunpoint. Since she has no money, she offers him her engagement ring, which is worth $20,000, but he refuses and fatally shoots her in the head. What the helly? Everyone's just getting shot. Marcus arrives and the assailant, who turns out to be Diamond, tells him that Shauna and Star are dead, but he didn't kill the Shauna's kid. When Marcus asks him if he killed Martell, Diamond says Jennifer killed Martell. Marcus fatally shoots Diamond and puts the gun in his hand. Marcus's mom, T.D., and Telly arrive and are horrified to see Marcus with the 2 corpses, thinking he did it because he still has powdered sugar on his nose. As Marcus's mom calls for help, Marcus fatally shoots himself. As Shauna and Star are getting checked by the paramedics,
I was shot twice in 1 week.
they see the Marcus incident being reported on the news. 1 year later, Shauna publishes her novel and enjoys her new relationship. Y'all, at least the good girl won at the end, but this was messy as fuck. Apparently there's a part 2. Do y'all hate me enough to cover that one?
Hey, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe now and turn on the notification because YouTube isn't recommending my videos. And if you like to watch more foolishness, click here or here.